Hey everyone! Today we're making this gorgeous hanging plant. It's perfect for adding a cozy handmade touch to your home decor, and it's also the perfect zero maintenance greenery for your home. No watering needed, and it will always look perfect. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Lala. I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel and like this video so I can continue grow my channel and upload a new crochet tutorial every week. Grab your yarn and let's get started! We're gonna grab our yarn and hook and work a magic ring, and if you're not sure how to make a magic ring, I'll link my tutorial now on screen. And start by working 8 single crochets into the magic ring. To work a single crochet, you're going to insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, into the ring, yarn over, into the 2 loops. And this was our first single crochet inside the magic ring. I'm going to work 7 more. And when we're done, we have 8 single crochets inside the magic ring. We can close it by pulling this tail here. To join the round, you're going to insert your hook into the first single crochet of the round, which is this one, and work a slip stitch. To work a slip stitch, you're going to yarn over into the stitch. When you have 2 loops on your hook, you're going to grab the left one into the right one, like this. And to close the round, you're going to chain 1. I'm using slip stitching and chain 1 to join each round in this tutorial, but you can use a spiral method if you like to. In round 2, we're going to increase a round, working an increase in each stitch of the previous round. So insert your hook into the first single crochet of the round, work 1 single crochet, and do that again into the same stitch. Now we have 2 stitches in the same stitch. Move to the next stitch and work the same increase. When you get to the end of the round, make sure you have 16 single crochets around, and don't mistake the slip stitch for a stitch. We're not going to increase this stitch, it's just to join the round. And if your magic ring opened up a little bit, you can close it at any time by pulling the strand. To join the round, we're going to skip this slip stitch and skip this little chain here and work a slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round. And chain 1 to close it. Next, for round 3, we're going to work 1 single crochet into the first single crochet of the round. Move to the next stitch and work an increase. So 2 single crochets inside the stitch. And this is the pattern that we're going to repeat. 1 single crochet, moving on to the next stitch and working an increase. Repeat this pattern, these steps until the end of the round, and you'll have 24 stitches in a round. When we got to the end of the round, count your stitches to make sure that you have 24 single crochets around, and join the round by slip stitching into the first single crochet of the round and chain 1. We're going to start round 4 by working 1 single crochet into the first single crochet of the round. Then move over to the next stitch and work an increase. Then you're going to work a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and in the next stitch we're going to work an increase. And this is the pattern that we're going to repeat until we have 1 stitch left at the end of the round. 2 single crochets followed by an increase. So again, 1 and 2, and in the third stitch, increase. Let's continue this pattern and meet again when we have 1 stitch left at the end of the round. One last increase. And now we have 1 stitch left. We're going to simply single crochet into it. And we're going to join the round a little bit differently. We're going to look at the top of the stitch and insert our hook into the back loop only. This is the front loop and this is the back one. We're going to insert our hook between them and into the back one. So we have only 1 loop on our hook, 2 if you count this one. Yarn over into the loop and simply work a slip stitch and then chain 1. For round 5 we're going to single crochet around but only into the back loop. So just as we did now, we're going to insert our hook into the back loop, yarn over into the loop, yarn over, move to the next stitch, insert the hook into the back loop, yarn over into the loop, yarn over into the 2 loops. Repeat this step 32 times until you get to the end of the round. Let's work a single crochet back loop into the last stitch. Then we're going to join the round as usual into the first stitch of the round, slip stitch and chain 1. Next we're going to simply single crochet around, placing 1 single crochet on top of each single crochet of the previous round. 32 stitches in a round. So let's complete our round. I'll complete mine off camera and I'll meet you back again at the end of the round. Don't forget to count your stitches to make sure you have 32 stitches. And join the round by slip stitch and chain 1. And here is our pot starting to form. Let's continue to round 7 and we're going to start round 7 by working 15 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. In the next single crochet, we're going to work an increase. So 1 and 2 stitches in the same stitch. We're going to repeat that until the end of the round. 15 single crochets and 1 increase at the end. And 1 last increase at the end of the round. Count your stitches to make sure you have 34 stitches in a round. And then join the round by slip stitch and chain 1. In round 8, we're simply going to single crochet around, 1 single crochet on top of each single crochet of the previous round. You're supposed to have 34 stitches at the end of the round. So I'll complete my round off camera and I'll see you back again at the end of round 8. And at the end of the round, simply join the round by slip stitching into the first single crochet of the round and chain 1. Next we're going to do something similar to round 7, only instead of 15 single crochets we're going to work 16. So 1, 2, I'm not going to count out loud because you know how to count, I hope. And 16, and after 16 single crochets we're going to work an increase, so 1 and into the same stitch 2, and we're going to repeat that one more time until the end of the round. 16 single crochets followed by an increase to get 36 stitches, and in the last stitch work an increase. Join the round by a slip stitch and chain 1. For round 10, we're simply going to single crochet around. And join round 10 by slip stitching into the first single crochet of the round and chain 1. For round 11, we're going to start by working 17 single crochets. And 17, and after we made 17 single crochets we're going to work an increase, so 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and repeat this step, 17 single crochets followed by an increase, and then you'll get to the end of the round. After we made 17 single crochets, work an increase. Join the round by a slip stitch and chain 1 as usual. And you probably guessed it, for the next round, round 12, we're going to simply single crochet around, 38 single crochets. So don't forget to count your stitches and make sure you have the right count of stitches at the end of the round. At the end of the round, you're going to slip stitch and chain 1 as usual. For round 13, you're going to single crochet 80, and 18, and on the 19th stitch we're going to work an increase. So 1 single crochet and 2 at the same stitch, in the same stitch. And repeat this step until the end of the round. 18 single crochets and then an increase. At the end of this round, you're supposed to have 40 stitches. And increase at the last stitch. Join the round by a slip stitch and chain 1. And again for round 14, we're simply going to single crochet around, place 1 single crochet on top of each single crochet from the previous round, and you're supposed to have 40 stitches at the end of the round. You're supposed to have 40 stitches at the end of the round. And last single crochet of the round. Join the round by a slip stitch and chain 1. Next we're going to work 19 single crochets. And 19, and after we made 19 single crochets, we're going to work an increase. 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Repeat this step until the end of the round. 19 single crochets followed by an increase. And in the last stitch we're going to work an increase, so 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Count your stitches and make sure you have 42 stitches in a round. Next you're going to join the round into the front loop. Like we did before with the back loop, we're going to do with the front loop. So insert your hook into the front loop, yarn over into the 2 loops, and then chain 1 to join the round. Next we're going to work 42 single crochets around in the front loops only. So we already went ahead and went into the front loop of the first single crochet. We're gonna continue working single crochets into the front loop only of all of the stitches in the previous round. When we got to the end of the round, it doesn't really matter if you have 42 stitches around, it's just for decoration, the front loops single crochet. We did in round 16, but if you want to make sure, go ahead. Next we're going to join the round in a little different way. We're going to slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round as usual, yarn over into the loop and slip stitch. I'm going to chain 1, and then you're going to fold the last round a little bit. And what you want to do now is recognize the back loops that we didn't work into. These are the little loops right here. So you're going to go into the first back loop of the round, which is this one. Yarn over, work a slip stitch, and chain one again. Next, you're going to work a single crochet into that back loop. Whether if you're a beginner and whether if you're not, I recommend using a stitch marker to mark this first one, just so we won't get confused. And we're simply going to work single crochets into the back loops we didn't use in the previous round. Again, you're supposed to have 42 stitches at the end of the round. Let's work our last single crochet for this round and count on stitches to make sure we didn't miss any stitch. Next, we're going to take out the stitch marker and join the round with a slip stitch and chain one as usual. Now we're going to start decreasing, so we're going to work 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and then we're going to work an invisible decrease. To work an invisible decrease, you're going to insert your hook into the front loop of the next stitch, insert the hook into the front loop of the next after it, yarn over into the left 2 loops only, and then yarn over into the remaining 2 loops. And now we've decreased 2 stitches to be 1. I'm going to repeat that. 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then work an invisible decrease. Front loop, yarn over into the 2 loops, yarn over into the remaining 2 loops. I'm going to repeat these steps until we get to the end of the round. Then we're supposed to have 36 stitches. Yes, not 40, 36. To work round 20, we're going to start by working 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and then work an invisible decrease as before. And repeat these steps until you get to the end of the round. Then you'll have 24 stitches in a round. Next, we're going to work a round of simply decreasing all of the stitches. So you're going to work your hook into the first single crochet of the round, into the front loop only, then into the front loop of the next stitch, and work an invisible decrease. And I highly recommend using a stitch marker for this one, because the first stitches of decreasing rounds tend to disappear. And continue to the next 2 stitches and work an decrease as well. At the end of this round, you're going to have 12 stitches. Last decrease. Take out the stitch marker, join the round, chain 1 and take out your hook, insert a stitch marker and secure the last loop, because now we're going to fill it up. You can use any stuffing material you like, but I like to use my scrape yarn because I have lots of ends and tails. It's really ecological and also saves you some money. And also I ran out of stuffing material like polyfill, so turns out good for me to use all that scrap yarn. And when your pot is filled up, shape it up a little bit. Take out the stitch marker and continue working the last round. We're going to simply repeat the last round. We're going to decrease around again. So again, use a stitch marker, highly recommended, and decrease around until you have 6 single crochets in the round instead of 12. Don't worry about those little holes. They're going to be covered by the plant. Take out the stitch marker when you get to the end of the round and join the round. Slip stitch and chain 1. Now we're going to take out the hook, grab our scissors, cut off the yarn and leave some tail for sewing. Bring back the hook into the loop and pull it away. You can sew this little gap here if you want, but if you don't want, it will be covered anyway with the plant. So if you want it to be closed, just use a darning needle and start sewing the gap. When you're done, weave in the tail, let the needle out from anywhere in the pot, and the tail you can either cut off or use the darning needle to push it inside. As you can see, I like to use any inch of yarn so it won't get wasted. Our pot is ready, let's add the plant. To start making the vine, the leaves, we're going to start by working a slip knot. Choose any way you like and leave a long tail to the slip knot. If you're not sure how to work a slip knot, I'll link a video for a tutorial now on the screen. Then you're going to chain 10. Your chain of 10 is supposed to look like this, and then we're going to work a single crochet starting from the second chain from the hook, meaning not this one, but the one after it. So work a single crochet into the second stitch from the hook. We're going to move over to the next stitch and work a half double crochet. Yarn over, into the loop, yarn over, into the loop. When you have 3 loops on your hook, you're going to yarn over into all 3 loops. Next, we're gonna move over to the next chain and work a double crochet. Yarn over, into the loop, yarn over, into the loop. And when you have 3 loops on your hook, you're going to yarn over into the 2 loops only. Yarn over, into the 2 loops. And then when you have 2 loops on your hook, you're going to do the same thing. Yarn over into the 2 loops. I'm going to work another half double crochet and then work a single crochet in the next chain. Finally, you're going to work a slip stitch into the next chain and then repeat this step. You're going to work 1, 2, 3, 10 chains. And work the pattern of the leaf starting from the second chain from the hook. So single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, and single crochet, and finally a slip stitch into the last chain. You're going to repeat this step 10 to 12 times. Let's make the last leaf, the 10th leaf. Single crochet and slip stitch. When you have the desired number of leaves on your vine, you're going to slip stitch all the way up to the slip knot. You're going to slip stitch into each chain of this foundation chain where the leaves are. And it's very, very simple. You're going to insert your hook into the chain, yarn over, into the loop, and into the loop on the hook. Slip stitching all the way up into each chain. It's also not a must to do this, but I think it looks better. The vines look better when you do this instead of just the chain. When you get to the chain with the leaf, you're simply going to insert your hook into that big hole in the middle. Last 3 chains. And into the last chain. After we made our last slip stitch, you can see that our vine is curled up and looking very natural because all of the different directions of the leaves. You can change the directions of a few leaves if you want. It will look more natural like this when not all leaves are in the same direction. Then you're going to simply chain 1, leave a long tail for sewing, not exactly for sewing, but still, and cut off the yarn. And this is one vine. As I said, you're gonna have one of 13 leaves, another one of 12 leaves, and 2 of 10 leaves. And now let's plant the plant in the pot. What you're gonna do is take the vine, choose one of the strands, and insert it into the darning needle. And do that for all the other vines as well. Then we're going to take the pot and insert the darning needle right into the middle of it. And now when all of the vines are attached, we're going to do the same with the other strands of yarn. Once all of the strands left are inside the darning needle, you're going to insert it again, but the exiting point should be the same point that we let the other strands out in the beginning. So find your exiting point right here. And what we're going to do next is simply tie shoelace ties with each of the strands. And we're going to just tuck it in, all of this cluster. And our plant is almost ready. Let's add a strap. Next, we're going to work the hanging strap. So grab your yarn. I'm using the brown yarn, but of course you can use any color you like. Make a slip knot, place it on the hook, and insert it into any of these single crochets front loops only on the side. Insert your hook and make a slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 60. You can add as many chains as you'd like if you like your strap to be a little longer. When you're done chaining 60, make sure that your chain isn't twisting. Pick a spot exactly right in front of the previous slip stitch we made. Insert your hook and work a slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 1 and cut off the yarn with your scissors. And lastly, just use your darning needle to weave in the ends. And cut off any extra yarn left. And our plant is ready. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope you liked this tutorial as much as I enjoyed making it. If you liked it, you're more than welcome to subscribe to my channel. I upload a new crochet tutorial or any crochet adventure every week, and I'll be happy to stay in touch. See you next week and happy crocheting!